Alright, hello fellow survivors. Welcome back to C++ Programming, The Walking Code, Lesson 14. We're going to throw some logical operators at you now, and you are going to see these quite frequently in programs, so you might want to watch this video 2, maybe 3 times if you've never been exposed to this before. Alright, the 3 logical operators we have are not, and, or. Right? But we don't use the words not, and, or in our programs. So what we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to learn about the 3 logical operators, and, or, and not. And you notice that I have 2 ampersands here. This represents and. 2 pipe symbols. This represents or. If you're not familiar with the pipe symbol, it is the same. It's the symbol that is on top of the backslash key. If you press shift backslash, that's the pipe symbol. If you've used Linux or Unix before, maybe you're familiar with it. But that's how we formulate the or statement. We use 2 pipes. Not is just an exclamation point. That's all it is, not. And you've seen this before when it's not equal to. We use the exclamation point and the equal sign. Alright, so you've kind of seen not maybe before in an indirect manner, but these other 2 may be new to you, and, or. Be sure you know that the and symbols are 2 ampersands, not the word and. The or is 2 pipe symbols, it's not the word or. If you use those words, it'll throw a syntax error and it won't be, your code won't run. We're going to learn the precedence of logical operators. These things happen in a certain order when there's more than one of them in a statement. And then we're going to make our program easier to read. Okay, because last lab we said, well, this code works, but it's kind of clunky with all the breaks and continues and stuff like that in there. It's really kind of hard to read. So we're just going to make our program easier to read. Will it run either way we do it? Yeah, sure. But keep in mind that your goal should not be just for code execution. Yeah, my program works. All right, great. Your program should also, your code should also try to be readable to anybody, even yourself. If you're working on a big program and you come back to it 3-6 months later, you want to have an idea of what you were doing at that particular time. All right. So let's talk about the operator and. Okay, or 2 ampersands. Both sides of the statement must be true for the entire statement to be true. And here we have what is called a truth table. Okay, I have X, I have Y, and then I have X and Y. X and Y can represent anything. Okay, if X is false and Y is false, then X and Y is false, because both sides have to be true in order for the entire statement to be true. If X is false and Y is true, then that statement is false. If X is true and Y is false, then X and Y have to be false. If X is true and Y is true, then X and Y is true, because both sides have to be true in order for the statement to be true. And down here I have a little thing. Do I have bullets and is the zombie still alive? In quotes. So if I still have bullets and the zombie's still alive, I'm going to shoot again, right? Because both sides have to be true. I have to have bullets and the zombie has to be alive in order for me to shoot again. Well, maybe not for me to shoot again, but to make it logical for me to shoot again. All right. Now we're going to change things up a little bit, and we're going to look at the or operator. The or operator, again, is the pipe symbol. The pipe symbol is shift backslash on your keyboard. One side or both sides are true in order for the entire statement to be true. All right, I have X, I have Y, I have X or Y. And this is called a truth table. We use these a lot in programming, electronics, that type of thing. So you might want to get used to seeing this. If X is false or Y is false, then X or Y is false. If X is false or Y is true, then X or Y is true, because one side or the other can be true in order for the entire statement to be true. If X is true or y is false, then x or y is true. If x is true or y is true, then x or y is true. For example, I have to make a choice here. Am I going to shoot again or run? Okay, if I shoot again or I run, this statement is true. All right, if I fall to my knees and accept the zombie chow that I'm going to become, well, it's not part of the statement, right? So am I going to shoot again or run? There you go. If I shoot again, the statement is true. If I run, this statement is true. But if I don't do anything and just accept hot zombie death, then this statement is false. All right, because I'm not going to shoot and I'm not going to run. Finally, the last logical operator that we're going to look at, and this causes some problems for some people, even some experienced programmers that I know, is the not operator. The not operator is just the exclamation point. It reverses the result of the statement. All right, this leads to confusion. Okay, and it reverses the result of the statement. If the statement is true, well, not true is false. If the statement is false, well, not false is true. And this logic table, or excuse me, this truth table, is very simple. If x is f, if x is false, then not x is equal to true. If x is true, then not true is equal to false. Is the zombie not dead? Okay, which this kind of, like I said, this leads to a lot of confusions. We tend not to use not all that much, no pun intended, because it does confuse things quite a bit, and you got to stop and think about it in a negative kind of way. If the water is not, if the temperature of the water is not 32 degrees Fahrenheit or lower, then it won't freeze. Right? That's kind of a complicated statement, so we don't use it that much. We still use it, but just not that much. So what we're going to do, here we go, precedence of the logical operators, because if you have these things, if you have more than one of these things in a statement, there's a certain precedence level, just like there is in math. If we use more than one logical operator, they are evaluated in the order of not and or. Okay, so if I have not this or that, right, the not's going to operate first, then the or is going to operate. So keep this order of operations, is basically what it is, in mind as you're doing your programming. Not and or. Okay, generally we don't have too many things strung out with too many logical operators. That's, real kind of clunky code, but you might see this occasionally. We can use parentheses to evaluate things first, like in math. So if I have x, let me change to a pen here and see how I can do this. Pointer options, here we go, belt tip pen. So if I have x, wait for my computer to catch up, there we go. If I have x or y, that's supposed to be a y there, just pretend. This is true, and this side is false, right? Well, we know the outcome of this is going to be true. But if I put parentheses around this, there we go, and I put an exclamation point there, right? Well, I have true or false. Here we go, and put the logical operator in here. There we go. True or false is true, right? Well, let me put this not operator here. And then, so not true equals false. All right, so we can use parentheses to change this. Let me change this back to a pointer. There we go. So we can use parentheses to kind of change the outcome of this. I don't think it would matter too much in this simple example, because if the parentheses weren't there, it would be not x, which is false, and false or false is false. So, this is a pretty simplistic example. So what we're going to do in our program is we are going to refactor our code so it is easier to read. And what we mean by refactor is we're going to change our code. We're going to kind of reorganize our code. There's not going to be any changes on what the user sees, but we're going to streamline things. We're going to make our code more efficient, is what that means. So I look forward to seeing you in the lab for this lesson. And I'd like to thank you for watching my videos. Again, this is one you might have to watch 2 or 3 times to actually get it if you've never been exposed to this type of thing before. So I hope to see you in the lab. I hope the lectures and labs are doing you some good. If you have any comments, just let me know. If you want to see anything else, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. Alright, I might put some of the questions up as a video and explain, what's going on. Alright, thanks for watching my videos and subscribe to my channel. Alright, see you at lab. Bye.